creeping through the shadows like a night owl. You know what I'm saying? Shun Dunny. In that darkness, man. That's why that owl represent that wisdom too, because it get down in the dark. You know, that's where that wisdom at. It's where that hidden shit at. All that hidden shit in you. Like you ain't know you was a jealous person whenever you was in a relationship. You ain't know that little shit was hidden somewhere deep down. Or you ain't know on the low that you was geeky and low key you like to fucking borrow shit from people without giving it back. In them shadows. In them shadows. What's up, y'all? Matter of fact, just vibing out. And again, with anything, man, sharing our lives, or should I say sharing what we go through, you know what I'm saying, and what we dealing with, you know, that may help somebody else get a breakthrough on, you know, what they dealing with, what they got going on in their realm, you know. And matter of fact, that's like the main importance, like in like point blank period, is just like self-mastery and getting to know ourselves to the fullest. Getting to know why the fuck did I come down to earth in this lifetime? Why in the fuck, or what in the fuck I came down here to do? You know, and as you align with that, you know, more and more you start to create in a manner to where you're paving the way for, you know, whatever realm of reality you transition into next, you know, wherever that may be. You know, I don't want to make this like again, like no definite, oh, you going to heaven or hell, or should I say, you know, not trying to point to no whatever the next level is, but there is something outside of this reality, you know. But and also speaking on the aspect of, what's up, y'all? Matter of fact, I'm just running it. Empress Amari, what's up? TJ, so cool. 09. Matter of fact, I might just give away these earrings right now too, because that's what I want to start doing little giveaways. I don't know, maybe the person who asks one of the best questions, they could get some amethyst, I think amethyst and lava stone earrings. I had to check in my book sack. But yeah, I don't know, I might do that right now. That's another thing too, like expansion on what we doing. You know, matter of fact, when we deal with, again, the zodiac aspect, astrology aspect, you know, me myself personally, again, I don't tie myself to it, you know, as the end all be all, but I'm definitely aware of it, and I, you know, connect with, you know, gaining insight from, like, all right, knowing that, say for instance, planetary placements right now is in a lot of earth signs. So a lot of us probably, you know, feeling this energy to, you know, that Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus energy. Matter of fact, because the groundedness, the making things practical, dealing with what we value, you know what I'm saying? Being, you know, realizing like, hey, I am in a physical reality, you know, it's none of that being spaced out. You're going to find yourself like being more grounded and being more practical about, you know, the manifestation of your dreams, connecting with that Pisces energy, you know, having that dreamy vibe, you know, in connection with Neptune and also, in essence, Jupiter energy. And again, as we say, Neptune, Jupiter, Pisces, Capricorns, all this is just energetic signatures. And again, like energetic signatures, aka the portals you passed through whenever you came into this realm, you know, whenever you came into Earth, you know, like the stars being aligned a certain way is like a portal, you know. And those external stars are a reflection of inner stars, you know, within your you know, makeup, of your bodysuit, you know. Because hence, like I say, like the quote-unquote archon energy, in essence, is our earthly humanity, and that's within us, you know what I'm saying? And it manifests externally as, you know, archon energies external, like again, like the government and shit like that, or the shit that's made to drain your energy, or to, you know, again, try to bring you more into just being a human instead of realizing like I am source energy on the human experience, you know. Marcel Warren, what's up? I'm in Baton Rouge for right now in Louisiana, and speaking of that aspect too, like realizing that you don't want to use actions to make up for the energetic work you got to do. You know, the action you should be taking should be geared towards healing whatever blockage, you know, you got going on energetically. You know, if things are slowed up on the manifestation level, like the real work is being able to actually just sit there and work on ourselves, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the aspect of like spirituality where when it comes to like when you hear the vibes or see the vibes, because that's where I went to the extreme. I'm like, fuck a job, you know, fuck work. Because again, the only reason why things didn't kind of blow up for me while in LA, because I still had blockages of, you know, going into extremes. You know, again, where I was on the extreme of like, oh, fuck the system, I'ma just, you know, do it like that. And it was a part of my experience too. I kind of knew in the back of my head I was just on some bucket list shit, like, all right, shit, living houseless in LA, bucket list, check. You know what I'm saying? On some just, you know, and more so working from where I was at, you know, because it is what it is. I still realize I had some of that poor teacher syndrome going on, where you think, or should I say poor teacher from a spiritual aspect, where you feel like you gotta be poor, or you gotta like not have nothing in order to be spiritual, or to teach or talk on spirituality, like you gotta be poor. That's one of the biggest motherfucking lies and sicknesses that we could ever have, is thinking that we have to be in lack. Like, that shit is a fucking sickness. And it's no good, no bad, no right or wrong. It ain't to be judged in that sense, but it's definitely, again, like, it ain't cool to, you know, be in that vibration of lack. And sitting down with ourselves and getting to our subconscious and really shifting why we do things, you know. Like, you might subtly do things for attention, and that shit go all the way back to when you was a little kid and your parents wasn't paying attention to you. You know, and you got to sit down in a little meditation, or just in general, you know, and sit with yourself and have that inner dialogue. Like, bruh, I chose my parents, like, you know, like giving that forgiveness, placing no judgment on the situation. Like, hey, there ain't no judgment. I forgive myself first and foremost, because I chose my parents, you know, and I had that accountability to not blame any of my circumstances on anything external. Like, it's a wrap for that. Like, you're going to find yourself being more and more lost. And I realize, again, like, where some of my blockages have lied is dealing with, you know, still on a subtle, sneaky level, blaming something on something external, you know. And it's a balance of, you know, accepting where you at. Because say you may be in a situation where you don't feel as favorable, you still got to accept where you at and work from there. And as you accept where you at, that doesn't mean, you know, you can't focus on what you don't have and get what you're looking for. You know, the more you focus on what you don't have, you get more of it. You know, you can't focus, and that's where the shit get, you know, where you realize, like, that's the work, in essence. Again, energetic work, like getting yourself to a place where you act and feel as though whatever it is you want to see manifest is already there, you know. I mean, almost to the point, that's why I be kind of like on the fence, almost like with the way I use the word want, you know, because I mean, yeah, it is a want at some point, but then getting to a place where you just see it as, bro, this shit already done, you know what I'm saying? And genuinely lining up in that vibration and constantly working on that, you know? Like, that's the whole one of the aspects, but I'm gonna attract negativity, fam. OG Hollywood. Jerome Freeman say he got that Kai Night. Out of the blue, BMX. What's up? What's up? RDLS 92. Matter of fact, what else? That's what I was gonna talk on too. What are the thoughts on working with the Ars Goetia? I don't know about the Ars Goetia. Like, I don't know about that, and that's another thing too to be aware of, especially for the quote-unquote divine masculine energy, quote unquote us souls in these men bodysuits. You know, we tend to be like more logical, and we tend to want to intellectualize everything, you know. And I realized for myself, like, it's not about learning some shit just to be smart, you know. Like, oh, I know about who made the Ferris wheel. You know what I'm saying? It was created in 1952 by Steinbrenner such and such. And I don't know, just making up shit. But like, when we tap into literature just to be like a know-it-all in essence, and you know that's not no true wisdom. You know, in that sense of it, it's through, you know, going within ourselves and really, you know, transforming by transmuting past, you know, I say past trauma, but trauma in general, from the subconscious mind, aka from the soul, you know. But I'm not familiar with that particular, like, I've heard of the 72 Goetia, you know, working with the energies within. Matter of fact, again, we could create entities to work with us, you know, for whatever reasons. Again, for the most part, everything we do should be about like creating some type of form of transformation, you know. But I mean, again, you could have you know, create an entity to, you know, protect you from, again, but you would have to realize that this negativity or whatever is, you know, again, in some way, form, or fashion you created, but not looking at negativity as all that's something that's, you know, on the opposite side, because that's another thing too, you know, not getting lost in polarity, not getting lost in the, oh, I'm for this side or on that side. Again, like being in the balance of things, you know, like not getting extreme. But yeah, what I was gonna say is tapping into like making entities. I was gonna say another one I felt come to me, but it just came to me. But like, reason why I didn't do no video about it, because matter of fact, I'm like, well, how, you know, how could you use this for your transformation, you know? But I was walking, and I felt like a little tingling feeling in my thigh or something like that, and it was in my left thigh, and then I just caught the download. But again, this still could be used as you know, in a useful manner, but it necessarily may not translate to, oh, you getting deep transformation from this. But like, say for instance, like, if my left thigh is giving me a tingle while I'm talking to this person, that could be my inner self telling me that this person is a Sagittarius, you know. Or if it's somebody I don't see, like I'm doing tarot card readings or something like that. But again, I'm like, it kind of would have its purpose, but you know, it wouldn't be like, oh, this has created a great transformation for me. But again, like feeling a tingle in my leg, so I be letting me know, like whatever body part tingles is letting you know what zodiac energy that they coincide with. So like, if my feet, my right foot feeling kind of funny, and I know my right side connected to my, well, right side of the body connected to my left brain, so I'll be like, oh, that's a masculine Pisces energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, just reading shit like that. But again, that's why I didn't do no no video on it or none of that, unless it comes to me in a manner where it's like, all right, you could really use this to create some transformation for yourself, you know, because that's where it's at, you know. Like, in keeping it real with ourselves, you know, I like having to accept that I'm going through a lesson loop, you know, like I'm going through a certain loop, and having to accept that and not being ashamed and embarrassed, being lighthearted about it, and just sit there with yourself and just, you know, have that inner dialogue and see, like, why am I keep gravitating towards this habit, towards this person, place, or thing, you know? What is it? You know, and what can I do to, you know, transmute this energy and remove this blockage, you know? But what's up, y'all? I don't know how far behind I am. Jerome Freeman Parnell, yeah, that's part of it. It is like a, you know, like I speak on the anime or sword art online, or sword art online or something like that. But it's an anime. They got more than one series of it on Netflix. Like, and matter of fact, because sometimes certain anime or things hit so strong, like it just really hit my soul. Like, and that part on one of the sword art online where they basically, again, is a virtual reality game where, you know, the humans get this little thing and attach it to their eyes, you know, like a virtual reality kit, you know. But this new sword art online, and everybody was like, oh man, we can't wait, you know, till it come out. And so it came out, and everybody logging in and shit. And then they get to a certain point, they realize, wait, bro, it was like they go into the little thing in the game, they're like, it ain't got no log out button, you know. and then after they all realize it, they're like, wait, what the fuck? We can't log out of this bitch. And then the dude who created the game come out, like, in the sky, like this god or whatever, and like, yes, I am the creator of this game, and you probably notice you don't have a log out, but that's because, you know, you can't log out in this game. You gotta play it to the death. And to the point where it was like, and you couldn't even, like, if somebody unplugged you while, you know, like your human aspect of you, if somebody came up to you and like tried to unplug you out of the game, that would kill you. You know what I'm saying? Or yeah, in any way, form, or fashion, somebody tried to unplug you, you would end up getting killed. So you had to play in the simulation until, you know, until you transition. You know, it wasn't no like retreat or log out. You know, and there's a strong analogy to, you know, some of the aspects of this little game we're in right here, you know. But, and matter of fact, and just like that game too, like, where you think about, like, they had some people in the game who were like called like beta testers. Basically, they tested the game, so in the game they were like, you know, top people, like they really knew a lot of the ins and the outs, so they were kind of like looked at as the, you know, just like in this reality, like the souls who come here in this realm a lot, you know. And a lot of people use the analogy of like melanated bodysuits, aka melanated humans, aka what they call, which is more than just what they call black people. That's why I'm saying melanated, but like beings in melanated bodysuits, you know, being melanated because, again, all those incarnations coming back under this sun, you know. So you experience and you start to see where, again, like, it's not about like no ego status with none of this, like no superiority or inferiority complex, you know. Like the whole aspect, like, shit, is almost like being a 12th grader or something who repeated the class over and over, and it's time for you to graduate, you know. Some you could see that as an honorable thing or a dishonorable thing, you know. Again, that goes all back to perspective, but anyway. But yeah, like they had the beta testers who were like, you know, familiar with the game on a level where they could navigate, you know, well, so other people were trying to, create a group and stick with them and shit like that. Oh, what's up, Chris? What's up, Chris? Mr. Garrett. What's up, bro? All right. Phil Blue, what's up? What's up? Cofield Blue. Yep, I'm simply the observer. That's what it is, And that's another thing I was gonna speak on too. It just also being like creators to the fullest. Like, who says you can't create a new way of doing something other than, the doubt that may come into your mind due to what you have seen in society already, or how people preach so much about like this conservative, like kind of do things the way it always has been done vibe. But like, it's about us, and it's not about like, to each his own, but in the sense of like, not trying to forcefully go to an extreme, just like, oh, I'm way out there, which I've seen myself come close to doing. So, look, I understand how that could happen, but a lot of times it is just like, bro, look, this my last little lifetime, bro. I'm just gonna fucking just let it all out, man. Like whatever I feel, but there is accountability. Again, not to the place where you're serious to where you got a heavy heart about it. You don't want to have a heavy heart about anything that you're dealing with within this realm. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to know, like, you want your subconscious to be fully in the know of that this all was a game that I was playing, Not, oh man, my dog died when I was 3, or I left my cute little niece and nephew behind, and all that is like heavy-heartedness that will cause you to judge yourself. I don't. But to other people's analogies, at those pearly gates, if there were some, that would be you judging yourself, and again, causing yourself to reincarnate because you felt heavy-hearted about some type of shit, But yeah, I forgot where I was with that. Oh, and that's I was talking about creating to the fullest, because that's what I was going to speak on too, like the aspect of like being somebody who's like a blogger who likes to, just share, different point of views and stuff. That's why I'm moving towards like podcasts and stuff, because that allows for, to just have a raw conversation instead of every conversation having to be, because that's what my strength is, and I got to go to what my strength is. Like, I'm not really I'm pretty good at bringing up information like, hey guys, this crystal does this, or I've done this meditation, or let's speak on this information. But I'm real good when I'm just in that open vibes, where I've just allowed for whatever flows in the moment to just come to me and run it like that. But from being a blogger slash a coach student slash quote unquote teacher, all these different aspects is like, just doing what I feel. Because sometimes I caught myself like worrying about like, oh, should I be trying to be funny as I'm doing videos and stuff like that? Like, and I say like, you're wondering if I should be, because, I genuinely express myself in that manner. But it's that aspect of like, again, like looking at tradition, like tradition says, you shouldn't be an entertainer or this and that, and be spiritual. Like, if you're like an entertainer or something like that, then you're not being spiritual, which there is some truth to that if you're like chasing fame and not like, because this shit is about like genuinely, well, first and foremost, as you genuinely help yourself transform, as you keep it 100 with yourself and transform to the fullest yourself, your actions is going to automatically line up with again, helping others, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't necessarily have to look to save the world in that sense as much as it's about just look to save your inner world, you know, and I say save, but, you know, like line up with your higher aspect of being, allow for your mind, body, and soul to line up, you know. But yeah, just being, you know, being yourself to the fullest, and don't worry about no guidelines of, you know, oh, this is how a person who does YouTube videos should do this, and this is how a person who blogs should do this, and this is how, like, you know, do that shit however you feel, you know, as long as you feel you're efficient at what you do, or, you know, that you're successful, you know, like, as long as you know, and as long as you could feel and know that you're not just spinning your own wheels on some old, you know, crazy shit. And as I speak too, because sometimes I realize, like, we'll talk in a tone that's almost like, hey, you got to do this and you got to do that. Man, do whatever the fuck you feel. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and if I ever fall into that tone, just, like, disregard that, you know, like, bro, like, do what, you know, what lines up best for you. Like, what brings you inner peace and balance and, you know, all these different things, you know? But, yeah. So you get a zap in his left arm during, yeah, or like I did that video about like cutting cards. Matter of fact, I got a root pulling video on my Patreon, but like earlier in the game when I just was stepping into it, like, you know, learning about cutting cards, and it's dealing with the spleen chakra. The spleen chakra is like in our underarm area, and when you cut cards in that area, there was like, if somebody was like latched on to you, you'll feel a little pain like underneath your underarm, like around your ribs, like your little higher part of your ribs around your underarm area. But yeah, what's up, everybody? Wait, let me see. I'm probably all late. Billy Ocean, what's up? All right. Nick Nack, Patty Whack. What's up? What's up? Vanessa Coach. What's up? What's up? Yeah, matter of fact, and break again. Everything is energetic work. Like, actions are not gonna make up for energy work you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's gonna be a struggle, and you can still, I mean, because we're so strong and powerful to will through shit. I mean, of course, you could push through on some shit or taking action in a certain way, but it's gonna be a struggle, and the universe gonna make it. You know, how the way this mechanism is working right now is the vibration raising, things becoming like where there is no hidden shit and there is no lying or none of that. Like, only the truth will be allowed to exist, and if we're not living our truth, it's gonna show. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna show in some way, form, or fashion. But dang, where was I going? Oh, and just getting that inner peace, because I was gonna say, like, just with like the subconscious mind, like, I had to realize, like, all right, with the aspect of where I want to be at, from like Louisiana to Cali, and sit there, like, because sometimes too you want to try that, stick your head in the sand, like, be optimistic, and just like, even though I'm feeling split energies about being in both places, I'm gonna just try to focus on this one place. And, you know, I just always felt the energy like, nope, fuck that. Because again, that's the great thing too, like, to retrogrades or just reflection in general, you know. But reflection, shout out to Miss Love Language for you know, bringing that up recently. But like, the whole aspect of see, damn, I'm catching my little moments. I was talking about reflection, like, not being afraid to sit there and like really sit there with that shit. Like, all right, why do I want to be here, or why do I want to do this over here? And then, like, why, you know, what's the root cause or the feeling that's driving me in this other direction, you know? And sit there with it, you know, and get to a place where you see, like, because the more you get evidence of what's really going on, It allows for you to have more clarity, which allows for you to have more confidence in your decision making. You know? Yeah, I know. Because it's like telling a taxi driver, go here, go there, go over there, and go over there. You know what I'm saying? And that throws us off energetically. You know, the mind trying to do one thing, the soul, informing us to do one thing, and the body getting all tore up, you know, feeling exhausted when we don't really have to feel exhausted. Like all that shit. What's up, Nicola Joy, Miss Underrated? Skeet 111 to all skeet. To all skeet. So the whole universe based off of skeeting and eggs. The sexual energy. Matter of fact, if you want to catch some like nice downloads about like certain aspects of like creation, and when we talk about creation, like creating things like a realm or something like that, because again, a lot of us are strongly connected to the creator aspect. While some things in this illusion, are not. And that whole aspect of like with the what I was gonna say with like different aspects of creation, like working with a Shiva Lingam in a Lemurian quartz, Shiva Lingam and Lemurian quartz, like that'll help you catch down low, because again that Shiva Lingam deal with that yin yang, masculine, feminine, and also like again like the sexual energy on all levels, and Lemurian quartz kind of connect with the divine feminine, and that's what the land of Mu, or the land of Lemuria, the mother energy, having that connection and tapping into the Akashic records, and again like in a fashion that allows for you to gain more insight about your purpose and what you're doing here. You know what I'm saying? Like for the most part, that's what it all should be, like researching and dealing with things in order for us to, expand from it. And you'll catch yourself like, like I see myself like wanting to crack open a book, but I'm genuinely not feeling it. And I'm like, having to, again, like sit back and ask myself, all right, is this geared towards me reading a book? Oh, because spirituality is about reading all these books and, being intellectual. Again, like getting caught up in the intellectual aspect and thinking it's about, like swallowing all these books. Like, oh, eat this book. And again, like it should come from a genuine feeling of like, all right, I really, really would love to read this book, compared to like if it feel like a chore, like if it's feeling like a chore to read a book or something like that, then, that ain't, it's not in alignment. But yeah, it's definitely, again, having to keep it real. Anybody got any questions before I go? Any questions for your self-transformation? Oh yeah, also got the super moon, super full moon. Again, new moon. The new moon cycle is when you're adding, like doing constructive magic, like you're adding new things, implementing new things into what you're dealing with. And the full moon is more so about removal. And the full moon kind of brings things up to the forefront. The full moon is the light shining on all the things you were doing on the previous new moon. Like all the intentions you were setting on the previous new moon comes to the light in the full moon. And we work with all these things, again, to each his own, like on how deep you get into astrology or how deep you don't, or any of this. But all this is all tools that you could use to understand, again, like, your purpose and why you chose to come into this realm, because having a sun sign, Capricorn in Western, or sun sign Sagittarius in sidereal astrology. But again, even with that, like, no one side against each other, like going with the one that's whatever works for you. Kick this dog right here, y'all. Dog is very disrespectful. Very disrespectful. But are the African gods everyone's gods? I mean, none of the gods are like gods in that sense, where these are all archetypical energies. Gods was created. So like oak trees, instead of calling oak trees, I could say, in ancient times we call it the god Otricia. The god Otricia, arms stretch out far and wide, and up high, going up high but still reaching down low, like how oak tree limbs hang down low. Like all these different things were personification of energy. Or like instead of saying water in rivers and lakes, I say Yemenya. You know what I'm saying? Like all these different quote unquote gods are just different ways of interfacing with archetypical energies that's within you, because again, like, we got this divine essence inside of us, that is of a primordial essence. And again, there is no beginning or end. So, and all these human words just does not serve a purpose, because here it is where there's no beginning or end, but we use words like old soul and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, or like, again, like the primordial energy. Primordial just mean, again, like, as quote unquote close to the prime, to that, that source, you know what I'm saying? But again, there's no beginning or end, with this shit. But again, like, that's what the stories of the Titans about. Like the Titans, that ancient energy from that primordial mother energy, that got locked up by the new gods, or the quote unquote what they call the demiurge, or again, like the gods whose job is to kind of keep shit on lockdown and eat energy in this plane of existence, like the gods of this bodysuit, in so many words, like as above, so below, as within, so without. Our bodysuit is a reflection of this illusion. Because again, remember, we are not our bodysuit. Although just like I drive a car, and just because a car is not a part of my body doesn't mean I'm just gonna drive it into the wall and wreck the motherfucker. Because I got I came into this realm, aka into this vehicle, for a reason. I'm gonna use the vehicle, in a manner that allows for me to do what I gotta do, so I don't have to come into another vehicle. You know what I'm saying? But again, are the gods of Africa everyone? Yeah, I mean, whoever could wants to tap into the energy and know what they're doing, again, because it's all internal energy. It would be more so like African names, and of course that those quote unquote gods have like a certain energy signature, but for the most part, again, that's all internal. It's all like an archetypical energy that exists within ourselves. Hence why Carl Jung's work is so like the go-to vibe, dealing with like archetypical energies, because he had one of the Gnostic scriptures, the Codex 1, or the Jung Codex, from the Nag Hammadi scripture, where he got gifted one of the scriptures from one of his partners, who archaeologists or whatever, and was allowed to expound on that information. But yeah, just to answer it again in short, and then too, it ain't about just no African shit. It's like this whole little plane of existence. Again, like, and that's what this place also is, like a school for all grades from kindergarten to whatever grade, for example. Because it's like some people just getting into the aspect of realizing uh to know about Kemet and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, about Kemet or Atlantis and Lemuria, certain aspects, are again certain African aspects. But then you get to another place, you keep learning and researching and realize, like, oh shit, it was indigenous people all over this plane of existence. It wasn't necessarily like, no, oh, everybody come from this place, type of thing. But, you know, what crystals would you suggest we connect with this full moon? Uh, Again, and I always like to get a disclaimers, of course, work with what you're feeling, first and foremost. But if I had to, like what I'm feeling, not just go from what I'm feeling, like just a lot of grounding energies and energies to support taking action. So like pyrite, citrine, black tourmaline coming to mind, ruby, uh, just things to really again, like, connect with that that earth element of yourself, like to be grounded and to be able to take actions that are in alignment with higher self, in that sense, you know and also in general, always with any moon cycle would be good is, again, like working with crystals like a pneumite, black obsidian, uh you know mystic merlinite, pneumite, if I didn't say it already, moonstone, uh like labradorite is another one, with crystals that help for you to tap into your subconscious and go deeper into yourself, you know again, so you could release certain traumatic aspects, because again, it all goes back to energy work. Actions cannot make up for energy work. You can try, but it's definitely going to be brutally hard and get more difficult, from that perspective, you know because again, this all should be looked at as easy work. you know why is can't read innocent members mafia, but but and see, so also, which I don't think this may be a question that you could answer yourself, the real Stello, but also too, like realizing, like, sometimes we ask questions, and how does the saying go? The answer is in the question we asking. You know, I'm trying to think of certain questions that could fall in that alignment, but uh, I mean, Legba is known as the trickster for the aspect of, like, uh, for one, for the archetypical energy of walking in between, both realities, in between the physical and non-physical, and it's almost like no alliance with one side, so either side could see him as a trickster, and also like being a messenger aspect, because you could be seen as a trickster because you're not really, like, loyal to one type of person or energy, in that sense, but more so, uh, a messenger and a connector to all those energies. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, what I'm saying right there, that comes from my inner gnosis. Like that comes from a DMT trip. Of like getting insight about that situation. But matter of fact, and I got 5% remaining, so I soon will be out. But yeah, popping off with those again, the visualizations. Uh, Visualizing things as if they're already done, really feeling that visualization, and then falling back from it as if it, like, again, genuinely, like we create the reality of the energy we're giving off. Not necessarily what we want, because whatever it is we want, we got to line up with it energetically. Like if I'm looking for 1,000,000, I have to really vibe and go about my day and everything as if I'm a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to feel it. I have to feel like that abundance within, to the point where, again, like you're operating like you already have that million. Because again, we don't create from focusing on what is, we create from our imagination and creating what is. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if you're focusing on what is, you're going to give yourself more of what is. You got to be able to uh, again, get into that imagination aspect and create from there. And again, it's like the with manifestation, it's about us lining up with that energy genuinely. You know, it's it's like clockwork. It ain't gonna happen a second before, a second later. You know what I'm saying? Like as we align with whatever it is that we looking to align with, and because again, if I'm looking at it as I still want it, and I always use the example, and again, my phone will soon be going off, but I use the example of like when me and my brethren Josh, shout out to my brother Josh, elevated perception on Instagram, uh, when we was looking for a crib in the Inland Empire area in California. When we first got out there, we on the computers at the hotel, just going in, like looking at this spot, looking at that spot, looking at this spot, and then it gets to a point where I caught the little download where I'm like, hey, bro, because we was going at it for a second. I'm like, we got to fall back, because I'm like, we basically giving off the energy. Now that we don't put things out, we got to fall back, because if we still constantly like working like that, then we're vibrating on the frequency of still, I don't have a home, I don't have a home. Oh my God, I got to just put in applications everywhere, so the fact that we were still embodying that vibration wasn't going to align, so we had to like fall back. And matter of fact, we went go eat at Denny's after that was kind of a vibe. It was like, bro, you know what, yeah, just go eat, you know what I'm saying? So we went catch a little vibe, and and then not long after that we started to get little calls and stuff about like getting a crib and shit. So like really, again, remember full wholeheartedly that you are the creator of your reality. Reason why you feel like some demon or something is harming you is the idea that you think that something is harming you is what's harming you. You know what I'm saying? Is that mind frame to even think that something outside of you can control your reality over you controlling your reality. Hence why, again, like people give all the devil all that credit, like, oh, it gotta be the devil this, as if God and the devil ain't the same thing, for lack of better words, as far as like people using those aspects. But it's like, by you even saying, oh, this got a hold to me, or this and that, that's like saying that that divine source ain't shit. The divine source within you ain't shit. But yeah, do you think mainstream falsely depicts him? You know, it's you know, a lot of that stuff could be falsely depicted. Again, like and I know you just asking a question, but again, like our questions and everything should be geared towards like dealing with things that's gonna help me transform. Like, is knowing about the way Papa Legba depicted to mainstream gonna help me transform? Like, that's how real and serious we gotta get with ourselves. And another thing too, like the more I don't play with myself, the more I don't play with other people's ego or egoic humanity. I should say in that sense of it. But I'm at 1%, y'all. If I feel it, I may get back on because I see some people popping in, but but yeah, my phone about to. But in the real Stilo, that's not to, again, like, you want to inquire, ask questions, things of this nature, but just, again, like, asking questions that really, you know, it's really going to help you transform instead of, again, just inquiring just to know. Like, because knowing certain information is not going to, you know, help us transform and help for us to know ourselves to the fullest, but now if you asking about Papa Lego because it's something that's resonating and these and you trying to see how could you work with that energy for you to transform and align more, than and again, to each his own, but definitely with the transformation aspect, you know but yeah, yeah. Yeah, loco, yep, yep. But yeah, y'all, I'm out, but y'all already know. Now's the vibrate. Not too far in the future, not too far in the past. And that's another thing, being now to the fullest. Tapping into the past when it has relevance to the now. Tapping into the future when it has relevance to the now. But just be fully present in your moment. And if your moment is something that you don't want to be fully present in, be fully present doing the things that's going to get you to being in the now that you're going to love to be fully present in. Again, simple. Peace.